This video is sponsored by Single Point Solution. Single Point is pioneer in production and distribution of electric vehicles like electric bikes, electric scooters and three-wheelers. Single Point also provide consulting services to small F players.
Hello friends, this is Chandrakant from Akulmac Technologies and welcome to TopBrass. Today we would like to discuss something which happened actually yesterday, but yesterday was Sunday. Yesterday, the entire weekend, we celebrated Teachers' Day in India, which was to give respect to our second President of India, who was a remarkable teacher. In fact, he could write in two different languages from both of his hands at the same time. So, that was a certain skills I don't think anybody will have today. If we try to find, I think a person writing something in a language like German in one hand and Sanskrit from another hand at the same time. So he was a remarkable teacher. He was very well known teacher. He also met the Queen. And there are a lot of anecdotes which are available of his meeting with the Queen. So we will not go there today. But I think lots have changed from that point. There was a time when the teachers used to teach in the classroom and there was a certain way of doing things. Today, the teachers are teaching using online digital medium. So lots have changed. And I'd like to invite my friend from UK, who's also a teacher, but he teaches very senior people. His name is Naval Gun, and he joins us from London.
Good morning, CK. How are you doing today? It's a wonderful Monday morning here, bright and sunny in the UK. And Teacher Day, my goodness, where would we be without teachers?
Well, I give a lot of credit to the teachers because we were a naughty class always, but the teachers knew how to control us.
No doubt they had the whip out.
Well, I think I've heard stories of whipping, but I have never seen it. But we have seen some harsh punishment, which in today's generation, I don't think teachers are giving anymore.
No, the Tom Brown school days are well gone, well in the past. Today, it's more about encouragement, about getting the best out of all the students, no matter what age they are. So I take my hat off to teachers. I think they've got a really tough job out there, especially in the last 6 months, because the way we teach has completely changed.
Absolutely. The teachers have to learn new skills of not only using the digital mediums, and there is a different way of teaching. And in fact, I want to ask you, what are these new skills which are required before going on to the nightmarish things that they are experiencing now? What are the new skills which are required by teachers today? From your point of view, Neville, if you can just enlighten us.
Well, there are so many. I mean, the first thing is we've moved from a physical classroom to a digital classroom. Now, that actually means we need to be more disciplined, which might sound a bit ridiculous of a place to start, but we do need to be more disciplined because now we haven't got, 30 children sitting in front of us all regimented away with their notebooks out and all attentive. And each time a child isn't quite there, I can walk up to that child and just, tap them on the shoulder and just say, is everything okay? Are you attentive? And things like that, things that teachers do. Now you can't do that. Because you've got 30 screenshots. And again, because of the limitation on most school budgets, it's on one small screen. Like I've got an 18-inch laptop in front of me. In some schools I've been working with, they've got 5 or 6 of these screens all connected together so that when they do a Zoom or a Google Classroom or whatever medium they're using, they can see about 5 or 6 students per screen. That makes a big difference to the way you run the class. You're much closer to those individuals rather than a little, icon. I can see my picture here, and when you put 30 of those pictures together, that's pretty small. You've got to have although it's all condensed in one area, you've still got to be, looking around and making sure that all of these young people are attentive, they're interested, they're completely engaged with what you're doing. It's a whole different world. And the thing is, it's not going to change. We're going to be here for some considerable time, especially if schools all of a sudden that have gotten back to, let's say, the new normal, for want of a better term, and then the local area gets locked down, in which case the school will be locked down and the kids will go back home and we'll be back to digital teaching again. So it is, just to put by a simple, there's no simple answer here. It's a completely different way of teaching. And we need to make sure teachers have got that skill, really, to do it that way. What do you think?
I certainly feel the same thing that you feel, is that there is a new skills which are required, not only in terms of delivering their pitch, but also whether the students are understanding what they are delivering. I think there are problems related to two-pronged. The teachers have to learn, and also the students have to be controlled by the teacher and taught. So I think before the start of this discussion, I took liberty to make a couple of slides, and I want to present to you and probably.
Great.
So the first challenge that teachers are facing, the era of teachers standing in the class and saying that, hey, pin drop silence in the class is no longer applicable. Now the teachers have to say, click your mute button, mute yourself.
So we're just going to learn about different languages. I mean, the beautiful thing about that is once you're muted, you can say anything you like. As I found on many webinars, people think they muted themselves, and then you find out they clearly didn't mute themselves when they said something. So you find out what's really going on. But again, most of these young people have not got dedicated work areas at home. They're more than likely to be on the kitchen or the dining room table. In more congested households, there could be 4 or 5 kids working together. I mean, you've got 2 children yourself. They haven't got dedicated spaces in their house, in your place. Because again, it's a question of having the right PC available and the right connectivity. So just with those acoustics, the teacher says, please put your mic on silent. I mean, it's a great learning way for young people to be able to turn their microphone on and off, because that's a business skill they're going to need when they go in the future. Just like we're talking here, we're very remote from each other, 7,000 miles away from each other. And yeah, we know when to mute and when to turn the video off and things like that. Because again, the other thing is, when you've got all of these additional peripheral units on, it uses broadband. It loses bandwidth. And as you and I have seen on many, many occasions, people can disappear and then they can come back in again once the bandwidth has recovered or the local electricity has recovered. So, yeah, just from that one slide, there's loads of things to consider. And it's not just as simple as mute yourself, really. So again, it's a new skill teachers need to be completely aware of. Where is the child working? Is it a good environment where they're working? Is their posture good? I mean, the classroom, we have ergonomically designed desks and chairs, etc., etc. But at home, that's not the case.
Well, I think the children can now mute and whether they are listening to the teacher is something which teacher will not have a lot of clue whether they are listening to her or not. So I think that's another challenge.
It's very true, but the interesting thing is, the teachers have got this capability of asking questions to everybody, and you're forcing a response, and you need a response from everybody. And some of those could just be a yes, no. Do you understand what I'm saying? Simple yes, no. I've seen it work incredibly well where students that were previously less confident seem to be more confident when they're working independently. So if the teacher asks, did you understand what I've just said? There's more of an incidence of a child saying no. That has got to be very positive, because the teacher's now got immediate, really true feedback rather than someone's going with the flow. So there are opportunities here. Again, with the right package, you need to be aware of how to use it. And lots of these packages have got so many features on it. It's really important that teachers are trained in the right way to use it.
Absolutely. In fact, they have to divide the class in certain segments to be able to give different tasks. So I think it's again a new skill, because earlier they could have eye contact in the class and they can say pin drop silence or be quiet, or they can give commands to the class. But now they have to softly say, hey everyone, switch on your camera but mute yourself. So things like that. And most of these softwares now have raise the hand feature as well. So the children have to now raise the hand, and teacher has to see that small tiny hand which is visible on the icon. So I think these are again a new observational skills that teachers have to develop.
Yeah, very true. So what's your next picture? I love it when we use pictures because we can actually see what's going on.
In fact, the next one is if students are not attentive on the online media, the teachers may think that the students are sleepy, hungry, not attentive. Thousand things can be happening. So how to make them interested in what she's teaching? I think this is something that every teacher day in day out are facing today.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the interesting thing is, I've seen some people, not just in the teaching arena, but in the training arena, take the workshop that they were running physically and just do the same thing online. And the problem with that is that trying to be attentive for 50 minutes in a typical secondary school classroom, it's harder work when you're looking at a screen. You need to be more attentive. Every child needs to have these things here, these earphones and a microphone. So, potentially the cost is going up because there are all other distractions here. Even today, I'm working in my study, but our waste carts are picked up on a Monday morning. Just so happens they're 2 hours late. So now there's a huge noise going on in the background. I can hear it, but you can't. But that means that I'm at a disadvantage because I'm trying to understand what you're saying and I'm trying to block out this other noise. So again, we need to be very perceptive of what the child is doing on the screen. And there are lots of tools you can do for that. Are they awake? Are you seeing, even some very smart kids will have a video that's just going to be replicated and plugged in. So a bit like Mission Impossible, you see the thing repeated and repeated and you think this person's really attentive. But in actual fact, what they've got is a video program working in the background. Believe you me, I've seen that happen too. So, but the point is, again, it's the teacher's dilemma. It's going to be the teacher's responsibility, but this is where parents need to come in as well. And I'm sure you've got a few things to say about parents and their intervention.
That is the nightmare. The previous slide is about the dilemma, But this one is a nightmare because now the teachers can see all the action which is happening at the student's house. There could be some action going on, some TV playing, some sort of other siblings fighting in the background. So, thousand things can happen.
Exactly, and it's that attention span, and it doesn't really matter where you are. You could live in a 5-bedroom property, but you've got 5 kids, and they're all trying to work at the same time on the same workstation. If they're lucky, they've got individual workstations. So timetabling this and trying to get that right must be a nightmare for organisations like schools. The other thing is, you say peaking parents. To me, that's not a horror. That means it's brilliant. I've now got a parent on my side. If I'm a teacher, I would love to see parents being actively involved, not interrupting, but actively involved. In some of the programs we've been running over the last 5-6 months, we've been running teacher-parent courses. So parents and teachers can create a rule table of how they're engaged and how they're involved. And the ones that have really taken it on board of their children have not really, of course they've suffered because of the non-contact with their friends at school, but they've not suffered as much. And the parents have now become more appreciative of what teachers have to do, In fact, I've seen many parents turn around and said, I'm never going to moan about the teacher again. Because it's hard work. It really is hard work. You may say they're paid to do it, but frankly, this is a vocation. This is a calling for many people. So yeah, don't be a peaking parent. Be an interactive parent.
I think this is a nice advice to the parent, and I would like to share some of the experience that I see every day. So what happens at my place is that the 2 children, they put themselves on mute, and sometimes they put their video also to off, and then they fight with each other. And what is the fight all about? It's about their subjects. So if one person is fighting with the other, and they're interfering in other guys' studies. So this is beyond the teacher. They just mute everything and then they fight with each other. Many times they fight on the kind of acoustic systems they have. So so they will feel that, oh, yours is better than mine, so let's exchange. Then they say, okay, fine, this is not good, let's exchange it back. So this keeps happening. So children being children, they want some outlet of being not in the class. They can hide below the desk and they can do lot many things. But here at home, the parents are watching them. The teachers are saying, hey, switch on your mic, switch on your video. A challenge also.
Yeah, they do, and I don't think your household is much different from many others. Siblings always fight. I had 3 brothers, and we were never happier when we were fighting, frankly. But that didn't mean to say we're going to shoot each other. That's the way siblings operate. And it's about fairness, and this is the difficulty that parents have. In some homes, there's only one laptop. And it's not just the kids that need to have allocated time, which is going to be different because of the way different schools operate. But what about the adults as well? If the parents are there and they're working from home, then they need time as well. So, you and I spoke at the very early stages of lockdown about being disciplined, being respective of other people in the household. And again, this is just it's going to be fruition through the teaching arena. So this is where I think, schools have, I wouldn't say more responsibility, but they've got a bigger job to do. The parents still need to be coming to the table and doing things. But the teacher's job has been made a bit more difficult. In fact, a lot more difficult in some respects.
Absolutely. In fact, in the wake of write to their teachers, even the primary teachers, thanking them. But lots of change. When in 50s, when the Teachers' Day was set up in India, from that point till today, and lots of change in last 6 months. So thank you very much, Neighbor, for joining. This is a very
Pleasure.
long subject, but
Huge subject, but let's try and get it right.
absolutely. So catch you tomorrow in TopBrass again.
Bye, everybody. Bye, CK.
Bye bye.